Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to part 2 of What If Naruto Was Born God Level. And I had a few comments telling me, this Naruto ain't exactly God level, is he? He's a bit weak. And I got offended by that. And I mean offended. So, if you don't think he's God level, let me show you what God level is. This Whatif is going to be a different breed. The power-ups he is going to get, unheard of. And you guys, to see them, are just going to have to stick around and see. So if you do want to see that, guys, and even more of it, please hit the like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and comment down below. Also, follow me on Instagram, add me on Snapchat. We'll have a lovely little bit of a conversation. Don't message me to do shit for you like make thumbnails. I don't mind doing it, but message me on Discord for that. And yeah, what else? Also, please subscribe to my thumbnail artist. It will do me a big help, as the more subscribers he gets, the more determined he gets to make thumbnails for me, better thumbnails for you. You see my logic. But anyway, guys, this What If might drag on a little bit because I actually wrote a script for this. I know I said I'm not writing a script again, but the ideas were flowing and I started forgetting them, so it just happened. But anyway, guys, other than that, let's get straight into this. We now go to Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi and Sakura. They're walking back from the land of waves. Naruto is really happy, saying they named the bridge after me, they named the bridge after me. But they finally arrive back in the village. And after being dismissed, Naruto immediately returns back to his house. He runs home. And when he opens the door, Jiraiya is sitting there with a bowl of hot ramen for the both of them. Naruto sits down with a smile and begins to tell Jiraiya about his mission, especially the part where he was shocked at how one of the legendary 7 ninja swordsmen was weak and boring to fight. Jiraiya hearing this says, well, if he was weak then, I guess you don't want me to teach you this new move or this new ability. Hearing this, Naruto's eyes immediately widen and light up, saying, no, you can still teach me. And Jiraiya begins to laugh. He says it's about time that I actually helped you learn about your Sage Mode and how to use it. So roughly about 2 days go past, and Naruto actually learned how to use his Sage Mode, and to Jiraiya's surprise, I mean a big surprise, Naruto mastered it easily. And for those asking if it's a godly Naruto, his Sage Mode is literally called God Sage Mode. His base abilities include literally unlimited infinity healing for him or other people. He's able to multiply his strength as much as he wants, but it drains his chakra. And he can also drain his opponent's stamina and make it his own, just by looking at them. After training this, Jiraiya tells Naruto he's proud of him, as this is a very, very big accomplishment for any ninja. But now, a few days later, Kakashi calls the team for a meeting and tells them that he volunteered them from the tuning exams. And hearing this, Naruto's heart begins to race and he gets so excited and begins to train straight away, but in private. Taking a few lessons that he learnt from Jiraiya, wanting to do it on his own this time, Naruto tries to attempt the summoning jutsu, but what he summons surprises himself. It seems to be a dragon made out of like space, like galaxy, like, you know, when you look at upload images of the galaxy and you just see that beautiful stars everywhere, colours, that's what this dragon is made up of. But it has no clue of what his purpose is, and instead looks at Naruto and attacks. Naruto, unfazed with this at first, then attempts to swing and punch it until he feels this dragon actually hurt his own fist. He gets thrown backwards. Naruto attempts to pick it up and body slam it, but it's heavy. It's heavy like a black hole. And Naruto begins to panic. Damn it, I can't let this go on the village. That's when he decides to test out his Sage Mode. He begins to amplify his strength insanely to 100, if not 1,000 to millions. And he swings at full force, punching this dragon around the face. It slams it to the ground, but it gets up with no damage. And instead replies, Master. This dragon was testing Naruto. see if it was strong enough to be his master. This dragon has no clue who it is, what it is, but it understands now its only purpose is to serve Naruto. Naruto says to it, I can't exactly have a dragon summoning without getting attention. Can you change shape to like being a human? And the dragon, quiet for a second, looks at Naruto up and down and begins to change its shape to possess human features like arms, legs and all that, but it possesses no face. Naruto thinks of a name and names it kanji. If you're wondering why, that's the Japanese name, I think, for space. I guessed it, or I looked it up, I actually don't know. One sec, I'll tell you guys right now. Oh no, it's the Chinese name, sorry, for Milky Way. I looked it up for a good name, but anyway. After this happens, this dragon enters some liquid form and it shoots at Naruto. Up his hand, up his arm, and then onto his neck. It begin to spin and form a small tattoo circle on Naruto's neck, similar to sort of dragon looking. Like, you know, Meliodas tattoo is that exactly like that, but on his neck. Naruto feels an insane power course through his veins. This is the power of the galaxy. But Naruto doesn't know this right now. And instead, Naruto just thinks, I'll think about this later. But by the way, if you're wondering, the tattoo on Naruto's neck is literally just a normal black colour. We now go a little 2-day time to forget again for the Chunin exams to begin. Naruto goes in and he aces the written test. And before he gives in his sheet, he sits there in controlling the fire nature. In front of Sasuke and Sakura, Naruto makes the answers appear in small little flames. One sec, guys. Seeing this, both Sakura and Sasuke smile and they both write down the answers. But out of respect for the only reason they're passing is Naruto, they let him hand his paper in first. After this, the Forest of Death arc begins. After getting the rules explained to them, they all walk into the Forest of Death, and Naruto, not really being bothered by this, creates a shadow clone, and in a matter of seconds it comes back with the necessary score they needed. Naruto pauses for a second. With his sage mode always active, he senses that there's a massive snake, and he thinks, if that hurts a student, it'll be a problem, and he goes to deal with it, as it could be an actual danger to the other students. But this is where a weird person appears in front of Sasuke and Sakura. We know this to be Orochimaru. And he attempts to tell them, give me your scroll, as a diversion. But when they refuse, he smiles, and using his bloodlust Slaskin jutsu, I don't actually know what it is, guys, what he did in the show. Sasuke and Sakura both freeze up, unable to move, but Sasuke, without even realising, it was a reflex mostly, he activates his newly unlocked white Sharingan. And surprisingly, it reflects all the stuff that was happening to him, like the Genjutsu was saying, back into Orochimaru. Orochimaru now is frozen up and can't move. But he's about to undo this, but Naruto, who has now dealt with this massive snake, has just arrived back at this location. And seeing the mysterious person doesn't miss the chance to come in with a flying kick and kick Orochimaru in the face, sending him flying, but also tearing off the fake skin, revealing his true face. Naruto automatically recognises who this person is from a picture that he saw of Jiraiya's old team when they were younger. And he immediately yells, Orochimaru, leave this village now. I'll only spare your life this time out of respect for my sensei and my father. But if you do not heed my warning, I will end your life here. Orochimaru laughs, saying, you, a mere child, is supposed to end me. Don't make me laugh. Naruto activates his Rinnegan, which shakes Orochimaru to his core. As he gets flashbacks of when he was in the Akatsuki, he attempted as mostly a test of Pain's abilities to steal his Rinnegan, and Pain beat the shit out of Orochimaru, like he beat his ass. Orochimaru comes to his senses thinking, wait a minute, it's only a mere child, a mere brat. It's impossible for him to have mastered the abilities of the Rinnegan like Pain had before. And now, I'll have an Uchiha's body with the Rinnegan eyes. He lunged at Naruto, ready to snatch his eyes, only to get blown away by the almighty push. Before Orochimaru can recover, Naruto's on top of him. After pummel him into the ground with a few punches. Naruto uses the Renegade's ability and begins to attempt to rip out Orochimaru's soul, damaging it. Orochimaru, in a last-ditch effort, summons up in a last-ditch effort to escape, summons up 1,000,000 snakes, and it begins to fall down from the sky. Naruto's not fazed by this, as these snakes ain't gonna do shit to him. But then he realizes, wait, Sakura, as Sakura is some reason petrified of these snakes, and she's lying on the ground screaming, not even attempting to defend herself, about to be bitten. Naruto releases Orochimaru and his soul, and the soul returns to Orochimaru's body, but is damaged, meaning he's very weakened. And he flies over to Sakura. Sasuke's completely fine. He's nearly got rid of at least 1,000, 2,000 snakes. And he pulls his hand to his side and yells, "Masura Sengun!" completely obliterating all the snakes. But then turns back to see that Orochimaru is gone. He takes a deep breath and exhales, relaxing, thinking it's over, until his common sense sets in that Orochimaru couldn't escape that quickly, especially with how damaged his soul was. That's when it happens. Orochimaru, who had transformed into a leaf to hide, appears next to Sasuke, biting his neck, placing a curse mark. As Naruto sees Sasuke's body drop to the floor, lifeless body may I add, he thinks Sasuke's dead. Time slows for Naruto until it completely stops. Rage begins to overflow inside Naruto, to the point his eyes roll back in his skull. And the dragon mark on his neck begins to spread down his arm and over his eye, similar to how the karma works. And its dark tattoo colour quickly disappears and becomes galaxy, identical to the colour that Naruto's dragon was. And the Rinnegan eye quickly disappears, well, the part where the part where the galaxy tattoo covers his eye, that Rinnegan eye disappears and becomes just pure galaxy. As if you were to look into outer space, that's what you'd see in Naruto's eyes. Time has now resumed, and power explodes from Naruto, and I mean explodes. Hundreds and hundreds of trees are just getting blown away, completely obliterated. And this pure actual force coming from Naruto means that both of Orochimaru's arms disintegrate. Naruto, who is still enraged, stares into Orochimaru's soul, and Orochimaru, who is frozen in fear, attempts to run away, but Naruto raises his hand up toward Orochimaru, and in a very, very dark voice says, "Die!" As pure galaxy shoots out of Naruto's hands towards Orochimaru, completely obliterating Orochimaru's body, like completely gets melted, destroyed, killing him instantaneously. The marks on Naruto's body recede, returning back to the dragon tattoo on his neck, and he passes out. Naruto wakes up in hospital, with Jiraiya sitting there next to him waiting for him to wake up. Naruto wakes up a bit dizzy, but it quickly fades, and he looks around saying, "Oh, what happened?" Jiraiya says, "You killed Orochimaru, I'm impressed, but it's no time for jokes. What was that power?" Naruto replies honestly, saying, "I don't know, he hasn't made the connection between it being..." What did I name the dragon? 1 second, guys, I am sorry. Kanji. He says he hasn't made that connection of it being kanji. And he just says, I don't know. Jiraiya says, "Well, until we figure out what that power is, I suggest that you don't take part in the Chunin exam. You don't know who you could hurt." But Naruto argues back until Jiraiya realizes he ain't gonna win his argument. And after about 20 minutes of pure argument, he says, "Fine, but you have to promise me, if you feel this power going out of control, or actually rising up again, not even going out of control, if you feel this power awakening again, promise me that you will give up, you will surrender in the Chunin exams." And Naruto says, "Fine, I promise." But he decides that he isn't going to ask Jiraiya for help. This is something that he needs to figure out on his own. That he wants to figure out on his own, and that he will. We now have a 2-day time strip. Naruto is fully healed up, of course, and the Chunin exams begin. We first go to Kiba versus Naruto, and before the fight even properly begins getting going, Naruto releases some of his chakra, and this chakra had been infused with Naruto's new galaxy power, and Kiba passes out from the pure pressure. For some reason, Naruto is able to do this, and he just finds it natural, as if he's been able to do it his whole life. Neji versus Hinata goes the same as it did in canon, but before the final blow can be landed where it caused real damage, Naruto appears in front of Neji saying, "Piss off, you know you've already won. Stop trying to take a life. That is unnecessary, you're just a bully, mate." Neji screams at him, "How dare you interrupt my destiny," and he swings at Naruto. Naruto opened his eyes a bit wider than they already were, ready to activate his Rinnegan to use Almighty Push, but before he has the chance to, Neji's fist comes into contact with some sort of barrier around Naruto that even Naruto wasn't aware of and is confused of, and Neji gets sent back flying. And when the smoke clears of Neji slamming into the wall, it reveals that Neji's arm was broken and mangled as bones were sticking out in many areas, and Neji was screaming in agony. The referee steps in saying Naruto Uzumaki is disqualified, and even if they use their top healers on his arm, one sec guys, and even if they use their top healers on his arm, it would take hours to heal, and it would leave lasting damage for a week minimum. However, Naruto just spits on the ground saying, "You're making me do all the work," and walks over to Neji, placing his finger on Neji's arm. Using his Sage Mode ability of infinite healing, he heals Neji's arm instantly, shocking everyone as the referee asks Neji, one sec, Pepsi Max ready? He asks Neji, "Can you continue? Is there any lasting damage?" But Neji says, "I'm fine, I can continue." And the referee announces that Naruto Uzumaki may continue with the training exams. Naruto versus Neji begins, but Neji is very wary to attack Naruto, and instead attempt to give his speech from afar, but Naruto ain't having that boring shit. And he uses Almighty Pull to drag Neji towards him and grabbing him by his neck. He was beginning to get ready to chokeslam him, but before Naruto can even do anything, Neji begins to have a panic attack, having flashbacks to what happened to his arm, with the fear he felt looking at Naruto, and surrenders. Lee vs Gaara is then announced, and this goes exactly the same as in canon, but instead, Naruto yet again has to interrupt another fight before any major damage is done, as he could see that Lee's legs were going to get destroyed. But the referee steps in, and now there's an issue, as due to neither Lee or Gaara being knocked out, who would win? Who's been announced as a winner? And the referee then says, blah blah blah, Naruto Uzumaki shall be disqualified, and one of these fighters will take his place, due to him interrupting again. Naruto says, "Piss off, mate. You are not to disqualify me for doing your job for you. You know for a fact he would have got fucked up." Lee then says, "No, don't disqualify him. Instead, he says to Naruto, if you can beat me, I will admit it is my loss, and I will surrender." Naruto smiles and says, "I respect it." And their fight begins. To get ready for the fight, Lee immediately goes straight into the third gate, and begins explaining what the 8 gates are to Naruto. But Naruto interrupts him, saying, "Wait a minute, I can do that," and immediately goes into the 7th gate. And laughing, saying, "I had no clue this was the 8 gates. I just thought it was a bit of chakra. I thought it was the Kaioken." I know he didn't say that, guys, but I can't think of an excuse. Lee, dumbfounded but also knowing he ain't gonna win this, says, I'm sorry, I accept the defeat and there's no way I can beat you. I'm just happy that if that's true that you didn't know what it was, I'm happy you didn't open that 8th gate, the final gate, accidentally." Naruto, curious about this, says, "What this?" and opens the gate of death as the red aura seeps out from his skin. Everyone is scared. Kakashi, Guy, every person there, the third Hokage, Jiraiya. As medical experts, the top ones rush in to the arena, hoping they can save Naruto. As he hasn't even been in the 8th gate for long, there's a chance they could save him. But Naruto deactivates the 8th gate completely fine, saying, "I've always been able to do this. I don't really get any damage." Guy's entire world has just crumbled. How can he use the 8 gates without trouble? What is this bullshit? But Naruto just laughs and says, "I guess that is what it is." Now we go to Sasuke versus Gaara happening. And Sasuke activates his white Sharingan. He has been training this, and he's figured out the abilities. Gaara launches sandbags at him, and Sasuke just stands there not paying attention. He opens his eyes wider, and the sand spikes get reflected right back at Gaara. This is Sasuke's new ability, his new Sharingan's ability, due to Naruto infusing his chakra into it. Sasuke's ability is that he's similar to Meliodas' full counter. Sasuke can reflect any ninjutsu at all to the one who shot it by just looking at it. Due to this fight goes insanely easy, and the same thing that happens, he gets hit with a Chidori. Gaara ends up going berserk, and it sends Sasuke flying away from him, but Sakura doesn't get caught up in this, and instead Gaara attempts to flee the village. He begins running out, but Naruto follows him, and stops him, saying, "Stop running, you pussy." Gaara turns around, "Hey, you want to die?" But Naruto is not fazed, and instead he begins just fighting against Gaara quite easily. He's even bored. But out of respect for Gaara, he's still fighting without trying to make it obvious. But eventually even Naruto gets too bored and becomes lazy. And Gaara's using Shugaku's chakra enters that other form where he's more like Shugaku, and he gets like 100 times faster. I know that's a stretch, but so what? This actually catches Naruto off guard. And remember, keep in mind, he has no Kikagenkai activated. And this actually caught Naruto guard, and he's about to be hit, even though it would do no damage. Until that mysterious barrier appears again, and half of Gaara/Shugaku's body is blown away. This causes Gaara to pass out, and Shugaku is fully released. And as Naruto's seeing this, he begins thinking of ways he can end this without causing any major damage to the Leaf Village. And as Shugaku's roaring, he's sending air blasts at Naruto, and Naruto's dodging, weaving, and all of that. But that's when Naruto senses Shugaku's chakra. It's immense. He's not afraid, but it then begins to happen. He feels the tattoo on his neck begin to try to go down to his body. The power is trying to release. It's trying to escape. It's trying to transform. Similar to Sasuke's curse mark, this power is trying to release itself, but Naruto is fighting his very best to hold it back, tries to contain it. Naruto then realizes, wait a minute, am I afraid of this power? After a bit of struggling against his power for a few minutes, Shugaku was confused watching it as he could sense this power. He's just been there sitting quietly watching. Naruto then has the revelation, the realization, all his life, not once had he been afraid of his power, even though it was immense. Instead, he embraced it. He was proud of it. Why would this new power be any different? And Naruto stops holding it back, stops holding it back, stops trying to contain it. And he just smiles, saying, "I'm just gonna embrace it." As the dragon tattoo spreads along his body, over his eye, and becomes galaxy, his eye enters that galaxy mode, and Shugaku, although wary of his power or ready for it, has no time to react before Naruto appears next to him, and as Naruto effortlessly waves his arm upwards, literally tearing Shugaku's arm off his shoulders, and along with Shugaku's tail, and then lifts up his arm that's covered in galaxy, and actually absorbs Shugaku's body into himself. That's gonna work for plot later, don't worry. Shugaku, seeing that he has no match for Naruto, begins to try to flee, run away. But Naruto opens his palm and points his hand directly at Shugaku and lifts it in the air. Shugaku, although it was telekinesis, anti-gravity, whatever you could think, is then lifted into the air. He's trying to break out of this, trying to still get away, and Naruto slowly begins to close his hand, making a fist very slowly. The more Naruto's hand closes, little cracks of universe, of galaxy appear over Shugaku's body as a light starts pouring out of it, as if there was an energy inside Shugaku being created and making him explode from inside out. And in reality, that is what's happening. As Naruto makes the full fist, Shugaku explodes from the inside out and becomes tiny bits of a dead star as it falls down, glowing, glistening. It's gorgeous. And Naruto sees Gaara's body falling down to the ground. He jumps and catches him, and he's confused. Right in Gaara's head, it's the same sort of galaxy that Naruto has, but it quickly returns back to the red colour, and he thinks, that's going to be interesting in the future. But Gaara manages to wake up slightly, and he just sees Naruto's bright smile looking at him, saying, "You're alright now." And Naruto lands. And that is where we're going to end it today, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I actually do think this is one of the best what ifs I have recorded. If you guys do agree with me, then please comment down below, share with your friends and family. Again, check out my thumbnail artist, subscribe to me. Yeah, we're so close to 21k subscribers. Let's get there. And peace out, guys. Now, bye.